Welcome back to my channel, you guys. If you guys don't know who I am, my name is Patrice Crothers, and today we are going to be talking about my week 14 and my week 15 pregnancy update. So stay tuned and we'll get started. Okay guys, so for week 14, we're going to get right into it. As you guys know, the pregnancy symptoms are going to pop up here on the side. So for week 14, what I was going through was, okay, my first thing that I have down here is pregnancy insomnia. Like I could not, for the life of me, stay asleep. So that was one of the weirdest things that I have ever had happen to me. Is just like on here it says that I woke up at 3 a.m. Woke up at 3 a.m. and I couldn't go back to sleep. I get up to go to work at 6 a.m. So me waking up at 3 and not being able to fall back to sleep until I get up was very irritating for me, for one, and for two, I was losing sleep left and right. I'm not talking about like, oh, I was no, I was awake like I am right now. Like I was super awake. My mind is just going and I couldn't stop any of it, and it was miserable and it was horrible, and I was just thinking about everything and just thinking about sleeping. Like I was laying in bed literally thinking about sleeping. Like, why can't I sleep? And it was happening all week. It wasn't just like, oh, maybe a couple of days or, oh, maybe just every other day. Like it was happening so much to me that it was very, very much miserable. And even on the weekends, when I would try to sleep in, so I would be up, at 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, and then I would fall back to sleep around 8. I know, I would fall back to sleep around 8, and I didn't really physically like get out of bed until around 10. And so my husband's just thinking that I'm like having the time of my life sleeping in, right? And I was like super miserable. The dogs were like kind of barking by the door, and I was so angry because I just had fell back to sleep. And I was like, you don't know what it's like to just like be laying in bed and you can't sleep. Like it's miserable. It says here that my mood was very normal, which is good. I didn't have any crazy mood swings this week, which is really fine. I don't know how I didn't have any mood swings with me being so exhausted, but that's neither here nor there. I'm glad that my mood swings wasn't present. I did still have a little bit of breast tenderness. It says on here that it was nothing, definitely nothing to report. It was just like mild boob pain, and that was about it. I didn't have any abdominal cramps, and I didn't have any lower back issues anymore, which was good. I feel like my pregnancy pillow really helped with that. And on this week, my feet still hurt. So, yeah, my feet were still in pain when I would lay down to go to sleep. And also this week I was able, like, it's not really a pregnancy symptom, but I was able to like walk more and, be a little bit more active and do my stretches and be more involved. And I just felt like this was the first week that I was able to like, get out there and like actually do something for my feet to be hurting, like, so that was good. And that was it for week 14. And I already wake up at the crack of dawn to go to work anyway, but waking up before then and me being not a morning person. I am not a morning person. Like I even tell my coworkers, like, you guys don't barge in here before 9, okay, before I have my coffee talking to me about crazy stuff, okay? Just let Patrice marinate. Like let me get my thoughts together, and let me wake up so I don't have an attitude, or I don't like lash out on people. And I say that all the time, like, oh, I'm lashing out on everybody, but I really am not that type of person, okay? Yes, I have an attitude, but it's within me. It's not, it's not never any, like, I never say anything crazy to anybody on the outside. Like sometimes I can be thinking it. If you catch me off guard, sometimes I might say it. It might slip up. That is who I am. That is me. My husband is known. Anybody else around me is known to have that happen to them every once in a while, but I'm not genuinely a mean person. Especially, I just don't like drama in the morning. I feel like that's something that everybody can relate to. Like you just don't want to. I have a high stress, like a really high stress job, so I just don't like to be bombarded with the stress so early in the morning before I even like got situated and got my cup of coffee. And I just don't think that's a lot to ask for. That's all I'm saying. But you know, if things happen, I'm not going to just be like, no, I'm not going to take care of it. Get out. Obviously, I have a job to do. So I just want to put a little disclaimer in there. I'm not mean to everybody, but I definitely have an attitude problem. So yeah, there's that. So yeah, that was the end of week 14. Nothing nothing else to report besides the sleep insomnia and just, you know, being so defeated after the end of week 14. I just felt like I traded morning sickness and nausea and for just like being up all night and being extremely exhausted throughout the day because I'm not getting enough sleep. But I also feel like that gets you ready for motherhood. So in a sense, I was like complaining, but not complaining. But I was just like, but this is the only time I have to sleep before the baby gets here. Just let me sleep, you know? So I was going through like a whole bunch of mixed emotions with it. But yeah, it came and it went, and I'm grateful that it went. And all that good stuff. So all right, you guys, now moving right along to week 15 and everything that was happening in week 15 with my pregnancy update. So these are my symptoms. They're going to pop up for you guys. And yeah, so basically my symptoms are exactly the same as week 14. Exactly, like to the T. Nothing changed. I was still waking up at 2-3 o'clock in the morning with my pregnancy insomnia. That was a real thing, and it just kept going strong in week 15. And I was, at this point, I was getting a little used to being like overly exhausted all the time. But it was something that was very much miserable. And what I mean by exhausted is it wasn't like week 9 and 10. I can't explain it. Like, it wasn't like I was in a constant state of feeling like drunkenness or feeling like I couldn't control my sleep and I couldn't, like, it was just going to happen regardless. It wasn't that bad, but it was definitely like, obviously you didn't get enough sleep. You were staying up too late. And now you have to go through the day and function through the day. It was definitely a different kind of exhaustion. And it was prone to like me not getting enough sleep because I'm up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and I can't go back to sleep. And the next time I lay down to go to bed is at 10 o'clock at night. So it was like from 2 to 10, like, oh my gosh, it was just constant going and like your mind's constantly going. And I just felt like it just made me not as sharp as I used to be. It kind of made me feel really inadequate that I couldn't remember like just certain little things. I can remember the stupidest thing in the world, like pop culture or something, like, who's that guy over there? Oh, that's him. And I couldn't remember like my freaking coworkers' names. Like, it just drove me up a wall. And that's how like weird and like how my mind wasn't working the way I wanted to. I just felt so inadequate. And I couldn't just remember the simplest things about my job and just I just don't want to go into details, but you guys get it. Like the simplest things about your job that you do on a daily basis. And I could not remember for the life of me that, but I can remember pop culture. Out of all things, it just drove me crazy. So that was going on week 15. My mood was still very much normal. I didn't have any crazy mood swings, thank gosh. And I'm so thankful for that because going through extreme exhaustion and not having mood swings, I just felt like that's making me a better person. And it's also getting me ready for baby. Because you just never know what kind of baby you're going to have, what kind of child you're going to have, if it's going to be so demanding on your patients, if it's going to keep you up all hours of the night, if it's going to be cool, calm, and collected, if it's like you just never know what you're going to get. So I'm glad that, you know, God is molding me and preparing me for the actual thing to come at the light at the end of the tunnel, which is the baby, which is my beautiful blessing. So I'm so here for it. Like, I know that it sucks and it definitely sucked during the time that I was going through it and I couldn't understand. Like, I just wanted one night of sleep uninterrupted and just feeling normal, because without the whole nausea and without the whole abdominal cramps and back aches, and my feet didn't hurt this week, thank gosh. and all that stuff that was going on prior weeks, it just felt like I was actually getting my second win and I was getting back to me being normal. But it wasn't normal because I was waking up and I was staying up and I couldn't go back to sleep and things of that nature. So I was just like, if I can just sleep and live a normal life, like I can be golden, you guys. Like I can at least be 90% back to Patrice, but instead it was still, you know, me operating on that 70%. But I would take the nausea. I would take the insomnia over the nausea any day. I would take being tired and being up and being like all that over being sick all day and just feeling in that constant stage of like, oh my gosh, I'm going to throw up. I don't feel good. And this is going on and this is happening. It just felt like that was worse. That was worse in my humble opinion. I'd rather be up at 2 o'clock in the morning dealing with that than dealing with morning sickness. That's how I perceived it. And that's what, going through both of them, I would definitely take insomnia. So that is everything that happened in week 15. The only difference between 15 and 14 is that my feet didn't hurt. And I'm glad for that because I've been going on more walks and stuff and being more active with my family. So I'm really excited about that. And also I did write down in this week that I did feel like I got my second win back. Even being so exhausted, guys, being so exhausted and having that pregnancy insomnia still didn't stop me from feeling normal and feeling like, yes, like I just felt like in a state of bliss. Because when you're not sick, when you're not constantly sick and you're not constantly going through the whole morning sickness thing, you just automatically feel like a better person. I just felt better. I felt like I looked better. I didn't have any skin problems throughout this whole pregnancy, and I'm grateful for that. But it just felt like everything was so much better not going through the whole nausea. And I wrote it down and it has like 3 exclamation points on it because I was dead serious. Like that pregnancy morning sickness is no joke. Like it really took a toll on me. So I'm glad that that is over. I'm glad that that is a post-season in my life and during this pregnancy. And I'm happy to move forward, even if it's costing me a lot of sleep hours. Here is my baby bump for week 14. As you guys can see there, I just feel like it's getting so big, right? And I'll give you guys a little update. All right, you guys, here's my belly at 14 weeks. As you can see, it is, I feel like it's huge, but I know it's not big. Everyone tells me that my belly's small, so I feel like I'm small, so it just comes with the territory, but it feels huge to me. Baby C is in there. I'm so excited, but this is where I'm measuring at 14 weeks. Here is my week 15 pregnancy belly and my update. You guys, here's my 15-week belly. As you guys can see, it's still pretty small, but it feels so big. I keep saying that every week, but it's so true. So here's it from the front. And I know it's really hard to see with black, so yeah. There's my belly. You guys let me know down in the comments, how did you guys feel? Were you guys out of breath like I am now? Did you guys go through pregnancy insomnia? Did you go through it later or earlier in your pregnancy? I'm kind of curious to know if anybody else has had that, because I felt like that was something that was kind of unique and I never heard of anybody going through that. So if you guys like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. It really helps my channel and helps my platform to grow. And if you haven't subscribed, you guys already know what I'm going to say. Hit that subscribe button. It is free. Click on that post notification bell just in case you guys don't want to miss another upload from me. And I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye.